Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. And Al, when it gets hot out there, we need to be prepared for it too. How are things looking?
Well, Troy, you're exactly right. These hot temperatures are a warning to us to take extra precaution, especially as our dew points have been rising up into the rather uncomfortable levels as we start to see temperatures rising up in the 90s and dew points above 70. We can get some pretty significant heat stress built up, particularly not only in humans, but of course our animals out there. And I think the biggest thing for us was the wind was able to offset some of those conditions. But boy, was it sure a miserable period here with these long stretch of hot temperatures, a lot of wind, and unfortunately a lot of severe weather. This is probably our biggest severe weather that we've seen in a considerable amount of time. We've seen at least 5 tornadoes and over 120 wind events alone since the beginning of the month. So we are now in officially severe weather season. And really what is in store as we go forward in time will make a big difference in how this crops turn out as we go through this remainder of this month. So let's go to the upper air models and see what we can expect. Today's upper air pattern features a large upper air low. Once again, the Pacific Northwest and a ridge downstream over the Central Plains, bringing the warmth right back to us after a couple days of coolness. At the surface is a low in northwestern portions of Kansas that may inhibit, or it will basically try to get some thunderstorm activity developed in the western panhandle, but that's probably as far as it's going to go, and they'll be very isolated at best. As we go into tomorrow, we'll see that trough starts to pivot toward the northern Rockies, shows surface low developing in portions of southeastern Wyoming, and another one down deep Texas. There's just not a lot of moisture feed up northward to create much more than a few scattered thunderstorms once again in the panhandle. And by the time we get to Monday, we start to see that trough in the upper atmosphere broaden out. And as it broadens out, we'll see low pressure developing in portions of northwest Kansas, and that may help to keep some of the moisture going in western Nebraska into the morning hours. But more importantly, we'll start to see some precipitation to the east of us, but not much in the way here in Nebraska as we stay under these warm temperatures, probably doing a little bit more wind by Tuesday. Not much change in that jet stream pattern. Still the development of a surface low in northwestern portions of Kansas and up in northwestern Nebraska, but the main precipitation looks like it's going to remain up over the northern Rockies. We'll keep under these warm conditions through the midweek period at least, as that trough doesn't really move much. We still see those lows at the surface developing in southwestern Kansas and eastern portions of Wyoming, but most of that moisture is being lifted up into the northern plains far shy of our region as high pressure is firmly in control. Thursday, we see another piece of energy slip into that broad trough and deepen it over the Rockies. That starts to set up the surface lows over the Great Basin and starts to eject that energy out toward the northern plains. And we start to see some moisture returns in Montana and the western Dakotas as we go into next Thursday. And then we see that trough really deepen next Friday. That's going to span warmth all the way across the eastern half of the country. Low pressure starts to set up in the Nebraska panhandle. We have the opportunity to actually generate some pretty significant moisture across the northern plains. And some of this is probably going to make it into western Nebraska. More importantly, as we go forward in time, we look at the 8 to 14 day forecast, including next Thursday to the following Tuesday, we can see that upper air low looks like it's going to stay positioned somewhere around the northern plains with below normal temperatures and above normal everywhere else. And in terms of precipitation, we start to see a return of above normal moisture. Most of this is in the period outside of our forecast, basically that Sunday through Tuesday time period when this trough starts to broaden out and shoots energy into our region. So overall, it's looking like a little better later in the period, but right now we just don't have significant moisture moving it into the region anytime into the near future. So Troy, overall, we're going to return back to the heat with very little in the opportunity for precipitation for the next 10 days, unfortunately.